We'd like to thank you for attending today's public meeting for the CFX Lake Orange County Connector Feasibility and Project Development and Environment, or PD&E study. This presentation will provide you with a study overview and background information, and then will provide a study update. We welcome your questions and comments. Input received from this public meeting will help inform CFX of community issues and needs that should be considered in the conceptual design and location of the proposed Lake Orange County Connector. This public meeting is being conducted without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express their concerns relative to compliance by the Central Florida Expressway Authority, or CFX, with Title VI may do so by contacting the personnel shown here. All inquiries or complaints will be handled according to CFX procedure and in a prompt and courteous manner. The Lake Orange County Connector PD&E study will determine if a limited access facility between US 27 in South Lake County and State Road 429 in West Orange County is viable and fundable in accordance with CFX policies and procedures. New interchanges are proposed at US 27 and the future extension of County Road 455 in Lake County. The existing Schofield Road interchange with State Road 429 in Orange County will remain, but be modified to accommodate free-flow traffic movements between State Road 429 and the proposed Lake Orange County Connector. The exhibit shown on this slide is also shown on the study's fact sheet, which is available at the sign-in desk here today. The study area limits are outlined in red and are generally described as Porter Road on the north, Avalon Road on the east, Old YMCA Road on the south, and US 27 on the west. At the present time, the study area is largely undeveloped. The exhibit shown on the slide is displayed at today's meeting for your closer review. In Lake County, the study area falls within the Wellness Way Area Plan, an area recognized for its significant potential for economic development. Approximately 15,500 acres south of State Road 50 and east of US 27 were designated by the Lake County Board of County Commissioners as the planning area. An anticipated build-out of more than 16,000 residential units has the potential to generate nearly 27,000 jobs. In Orange County, the study area falls within the Town Center and Village H, or Hickory Nut, of the Horizon West Special Planning Area. Horizon West is a fast-growing master-planned community in southwest Orange County. Its rapid growth is highlighted by the fact that Horizon West's share of all approved single-family building permits within Orange County has steadily increased since 2002 and comprised more than 50% of issued permits in 2015. The town center will be a regional employment center with a projected employment force of over 27,000. The need for a transportation project arises from deficiencies, issues, or concerns that currently exist or are expected to occur within the study area. In short, the need establishes the rationale for pursuing a project. The 6 project needs that serve as justification for the proposed Lake Orange County Connector are: improve connections between area roads, accommodate future transportation demand, provide consistency with local and regional plans, support economic viability and job creation, support intermodal opportunities, and enhance evacuation and emergency services. CFX follows a specified project development process for new alignment expansion projects. The proposed Lake Orange County Connector is currently in the PD&E step of the development process. At the conclusion of this PD&E study, one of 2 things can occur. The proposed project can either move forward into the final design phase or be placed on hold to be revisited in the future. The exhibit shown on this slide is displayed at today's meeting for your closer review. The first step in the project development process is to identify the project in CFX's long-range transportation plan. The proposed Lake Orange County Connector is identified in the CFX 2040 Master Plan and was also identified in the 2025, 2030, and 2035 Master Plans as the Wellness Way Corridor. It is also identified in the Lake County and Orange County Long-Range Transportation Plans. The second step in the project development process is to identify the project in CFX's approved 5-year work plan. The PD&E study and final design phases are currently funded in the CFX's 5-year work plan for fiscal years 2019 to 2023. Design funds are indicated as placeholder in fiscal years 2021-22 and 2022-23 until the CFX Governing Board approves the results of this PD&E study. If the study is not approved by the board, the proposed project will be placed on hold to be revisited in the future. The third step in the project development process includes a feasibility study. 3 feasibility studies have been conducted for the proposed Lake Orange County connector. In 2002, CFX studied the feasibility of a limited-access toll road to connect US 27 on the west with Florida's Turnpike and the then newly constructed State Road 429. Based on the concepts that were developed, the study concluded that only the southern corridor offered any long-term opportunity for CFX participation. The southern corridor was in the general area of Schofield Road. In 2007, CFX studied the feasibility and viability of a potential US 27 to State Road 429 expressway connection within an area south of Heartwood Marsh Road and north of US 192. The study identified corridors A, C, and D as the 3 overall viable corridors. In the end, Corridor C, which paralleled Schofield Road, was not recommended due to potential impacts to the planned Horizon West Town Center at the eastern end. A goal of the current PD&E study is to minimize or avoid impacts to the planned town center. In 2017, CFX completed a preliminary traffic and revenue analysis of 3 alignments. The southern alignment, located in the general area of Schofield Road, was found to provide the greatest potential for revenue generation, and a recommendation was made to move forward with a PD&E study. All 3 of the feasibility studies mentioned are available for your review upon request. The proposed Lake Orange County Connector project is currently at the PD&E study step of the project development process. Simply stated, the PD&E study will determine if there is an engineering and environmentally feasible alternative to meet the project needs. Using the results of previous studies as a foundation, the most feasible corridors for the proposed toll road will be identified. Several alignments within those corridors will then be developed and evaluated to identify a preferred alternative. The study began in March 2018 with a 15-month schedule. We are currently finalizing the corridor phase, which is the analysis that will help to identify the most feasible corridors. 2 public informational meetings and a public hearing will be held throughout the course of the study, the first of which is today's public meeting. We are also meeting with various governmental boards and agencies and area stakeholders to receive their input and feedback. The exhibit shown on this slide is also shown on the study's fact sheet, which is available at the sign-in desk here today. We will now provide an update of where we are in the corridor phase of the PD&E study. The goal of the corridor phase is to narrow down the number of potential corridors for the proposed toll road. The potential corridors are shown on this slide and would create a direct link between US 27 and State Road 429. Although the preliminary analysis began with 800-foot wide corridors, the typical width for the final roadway will be approximately 330 feet. Starting with a wider footprint allows us to analyze potential impacts first at a high level. Then, in the alternatives phase, we will conduct detailed analysis to determine the best alignment within the selected corridors. Also shown on this slide are the social constraints in the study area. Social constraints include features such as existing and proposed developments, farmland, and community resources such as parks. This exhibit is on display at today's meeting for your closer review. Shown on this slide are the potential corridors mapped against environmental constraints. Environmental constraints include features such as water bodies, wetlands, wildlife, and plant habitat of concern, and conservation easements. This exhibit is also on display at today's meeting for your closer review. To help us determine which corridors move forward, they will be evaluated to determine how well the 6 project needs are satisfied. The corridors will also be evaluated based on engineering, environmental, and socio-economic criteria that were tailored to fit the characteristics of the study area. The engineering evaluation criteria include utility conflicts, geometric considerations, floodplain encroachment, and traffic considerations. The socio-economic evaluation criteria include impacts to approved developments, historical or archaeological resources, parks and recreational facilities, and right-of-way impacts. The environmental evaluation criteria include impacts to wetlands, wildlife, and habitat, conservation lands, or mitigation banks, and contaminated sites. Evaluation matrices will be developed based on these criteria to facilitate the comparison of corridors. The result of the corridor phase evaluation will be presented at the next public meeting. Based on your input and comments provided to us today, the corridor alternatives and corridor evaluation criteria may be further refined. The study team will conclude the corridor phase by preparing an alternatives corridor evaluation report. This report documents the analysis and conclusions reached as part of the corridor evaluation of potential impacts. CFX will then determine which corridor alternatives proceed to the alternatives phase of the PD&E study for further evaluation. We hope you have found this information helpful. You are welcome to ask questions of staff here today, to fill out a comment form with questions or comments, or to email questions or comments to Public Involvement Coordinator Kathy Putnam as shown here. You can also get helpful study information on the study webpage located on the CFX website and follow the study on Facebook for real-time updates. This presentation and all of the exhibits from today's meeting will be posted on the study webpage within 7 business days. Thank you. This presentation will begin again in a few moments.